Narcissist Ensnared, Episode 2. It was Saturday, and Wynne felt unsettled. He had spent Friday trying to attend to chores and do some online shopping, but he had stared at his phone, waiting for the golden light to flare, or better still, the display to tell him that it was Ashley who was calling him. It had been late afternoon, just as the darkness of evening began to fall across the land, that she had called him. The call had been brief, as he had heard Amelia in the background, and Sarah too, and accordingly Ashley had been somewhat guarded. He noticed, however, that she was content to call him in the house again, her earlier concerns about the house being bugged seemingly forgotten. She had explained that there had been no sign of Peter, no calls or messages either. She had gone to bed and slept for maybe a couple of hours while Sarah had kept Christopher occupied. She had explained to Sarah that her and Peter had decided to separate, but she made no mention of Wynne to Sarah. He was pleased at how calm Ashley sounded. In fact, she had sounded rather upbeat as she talked about what she was going to have for dinner and what she and Amelia would be doing in the evening together. Evidently, she found throwing off the yoke of Peter's oppression extremely liberating. There had been no further contact since that telephone call, not even a text message. He had found it frustrating, since he expected, with Peter gone, they could converse without hindrance. It had swung the other way, though. It was similar to how matters had begun between them, with limited contact. In fact, Wynne felt that it was even less than back then. He had looked at Ashley's messages throughout their relationship, and marvelled at her wonderful way of expressing her desire and love for him. He was truly blessed to have found her, and it would only get better and better. Wynne's phone rang, and he scrambled into a sitting position on his settee, seeing Ashley's name appear on the display. "Hello?" he answered. "Hello," she said. "Are you all right?" Wynne could hear music being played in the background, the sound of flutes and violins. "Yes, just a bit worried about you. I'm not used to not hearing from you." "Yes, sorry. I thought I'd better spend some time with Amelia last night, and then I was in bed by 9 o'clock. "Not a problem. Where are you now? I can hear some kind of band playing." "I'm at Derwent Shopping Centre. Amelia and her school friends are playing by the fountain." "Very good." "He turned up here," said Ashley. "Who? Peter?" "Yes, he just turned up. He knew about the performance, of course. Not like him to actually bother to attend usually. He just walked up and took Christopher out of my arms and said he was going to the house. Then he said he expected to see Amelia and me there." "What are you going to do?" "Go home. I can't go anywhere else, can I? I don't trust him with Christopher." "What do you mean?" asked Wynne. "If he starts crying, he is so short-tempered. I worry that he'll do something bad." "He really has no patience, has he?" "No." "Did he say anything else when you turned up?" "No. He just walked up and stared at me. I didn't know what to do. I thought he was going to start shouting at me. That's what he normally does. I was scared." "Do you think you really should go home? Couldn't you drop Amelia off at your parents' and then go and get Christopher? I have to admit his unpredictability causes me concern." "I haven't had a chance yet to tell my parents what has happened. There'll be too many questions if I just drop Amelia off. I'm trying to keep things normal for her." "I understand. I'm not sure what to do. I feel I should be helping you in some way." "It's okay, Ian. I can manage." "I wish I was there. I'd feel a lot happier." "I know. Me too. Look, I'd better go and watch Amelia. She'll be wondering what I'm doing," explained Ashley. "Okay. Keep in touch." "I will." Wynne tried to occupy himself all through the afternoon, but he was distracted. He just wanted Peter to disappear off the face of the earth. She had told him that she did not want him. Why was he hanging around? Didn't he get the message? If they had been up all night talking about it, surely Ashley had repeatedly reinforced that she didn't want to be with Peter and wanted to be with him. Wynne received no further communication from Ashley that afternoon. Despite wanting to call her on repeated occasions, or even just send a text, he refrained from doing so, in accordance with her previous instruction. By the time it was 6 p.m., he could stand the uncertainty no longer. He decided that he would drive down to the village and park up near the house to try and ascertain what was going on. If he saw Peter's vehicle there, he would stay at a distance, but if not, he would call Ashley and hopefully be able to see her. He had got about 10 minutes into his journey when she called him. He pulled over at the side of the dual carriageway and answered the phone. "Hi." "Hello," she answered. "What's been happening?" he asked. "Ian, I don't know what to do." "What do you mean?" "He spent the whole afternoon rubbishing you and pleading with me. He has obviously spent his time yesterday trying to find out about you. He knows where you work and what you look like." "Well, the internet will have given him those answers. That's not a concern to me," replied Wynne. "He kept asking me why I was throwing 20 years away. He said that only he knows how to love me and look after me." "Huh. He's hardly shown that he knows that, given what he's done to you," said Wynne. "He kept picking up photo albums of us and pointing to the various pictures, holidays, days out, boating trips, birthdays, and so on, and said that I was asking him to burn the bucks by doing what I was doing. He says he will change and give me more time and help more with the children. All he keeps harping back to is whether I am willing to destroy everything that we've built up together. It's awful. I haven't seen him like this. He didn't shout. He didn't call me names. He just kept saying that you weren't worth wrecking 20 years together. I don't know what to do," she explained. "Look, you've done the hardest thing. You've told him it's over. You know I love you. You know I want you, and I'll always look after you. I won't hurt you like he has. He makes these promises to change. But has he ever?" said Wynne. "I think he really means it this time." "I doubt it. He won't change." "But he might. I love you, but I love my children. I don't want to hurt them." "I appreciate that," said Wynne, concerned at what Ashley was saying. "But is it good for them to be in such a toxic atmosphere? Yes, there might be some short-term pain as you extricate yourself from him, but it will be worth it in the end. Haven't you always wanted to be free of him?" "Yes, but he seems so shattered at this. It's worse than the other times." "Perhaps he now realizes he's actually lost you." "Maybe. I'm torn, I really am. You know I want you, and you know how happy we will be together. I know. I'm just so confused. What do I do, Ian?" "Keep going. Get out. And then you need to stay out. I will look after you." She fell silent. "I'd better get home. I just said I was getting some milk so I could call you." "He is at the house still?" asked Wynne. "Yes. He says it's his house too, and he doesn't want to leave." Wynne bit his lip. He should have known that Peter would not give up so easily. "I'd better go. He was suspicious about me going out as it was." "It's over. You don't have to answer to him any more." "He doesn't see it like that, does he?" commented Ashley. "Well, no. He only sees it the way he wants. That's the way he is." "I'll try and call again a little later. I'd best go back and start getting Christopher to bed." "Yes. Okay. I'm thinking of you. Remember, you've done the toughest part. You'll get through this. We'll get through this." "Okay, bye." "Bye." Wynne was stood in his kitchen, picking at a meal. His appetite was minimal. Ashley's earlier call had unsettled him. He could not understand how she could possibly be confused about what she wanted to do. She was married to a monster, and he had come along and rescued her from him. Repeatedly, she had tried to mitigate Peter's poisonous effect by having affairs and speaking ill of him. Now, she had told him that their marriage was over, The blow she landed had evidently not been a clean one. He had not been severed from her, but rather he still hung by a few threads. Wynne was determined to either cut those last ties or ensure that Ashley did. Either way, he was not going to lose her. Not after being on the outside for so long, and certainly not to a tyrant like Peter. He was wrenched from his thoughts by the sound of his mobile telephone ringing. He saw that it was Ashley. Over 2 hours had passed since he spoke to her when he was parked in the lay-by. "Hi," he answered. "Ian, you won't believe what he's done," said Ashley, her voice a half-strangulated sob. "What's happened?" "He's been ringing everyone he knows. He spent yesterday afternoon going through his contacts and ringing all my friends." "What has he said to them?" asked Wynne. "He's told them that I have had another affair, that I'm basically a slut, and after everything he's done for me, I'm intent on breaking our family up." "I bet he hasn't told them why you have had an affair, though, has he?" "Of course not. He's been asking them if they know anything about you. He spent yesterday afternoon and a part of today telling everyone he can think of, who I know, that I'm a disgrace and not to be trusted." "Well, I'm sure that your friends will realize there is more to it than what he has said. After all, if they are your friends, they would surely want to hear your side of the story. When you tell them what you have been put through, they will understand." "It's as if he has to get his side of the story in to do me down first. He seems more concerned with muddying my name than saving his marriage," cried Ashley. She began to sob. "Where are you now?" asked Wynne, furious to hear her upset and again caused by that bastard's behaviour. "I'm in the car. I was on my way to you." "Yes, come here. I can look after you then. You need support, not this malicious behaviour," urged Wynne. "I can't, Ian. I was going to come to you, but then my father telephoned me. Peter had even called him earlier today and told him what I had been doing. My dad wants me to go and see him and explain what's going on." "You don't need more questions, Ashley. Come here, please." "I want to, Ian, but I can't. My father was insistent. You know what my parents are like. I have to do what they say. I'm going to drive over there." She continued to cry. "I don't think that is going to do you any good." "It's no use. I have to do what they say or there'll be hell on," she replied, in between sobs. "Okay. But please drive carefully. You don't sound like you're in any fit state to drive. Let me know when you get there, yes?" I will. I need to tell them the truth." "Yes, do that. Let them know what he's done to you, and they will tell others. You need to fight back. Don't let him think he can win people over. Once you tell them exactly how he has treated you, they'll support you and shun him." "Okay. I'll send you a message." "Okay, bye." "Bye." Ashley did as she had promised, sending him a message a little while later than she had arrived at her parents', and also sending Wynne a barrage of kisses. Wynne disliked hearing her so upset, and furthermore he was infuriated by Peter's behaviour. However, it did please him that Peter had gone on the attack, as this would surely cause Ashley to want to stay away from him and continue on her initial course of action. He knew it was going to be painful for her, but she would come through this, and he would ensure that she did so intact. Later that evening, Wynne was sat watching the football highlights, reflecting on how many months ago her first message to him had been sent whilst he was watching this very programme. How things had radically changed since then. They had both fallen deeply in love with one another, finally finding their soulmate after such a long period of difficulty for them both. His phone chimed, and he was delighted to see the golden light shining, indicating that it was Ashley. "Hi, how are you?" Kiss, kiss, kiss. "I'm okay. I miss you. Are you okay?" Kiss, kiss, kiss. "Yes, I am watching the football with my mum and dad." "Good. Anything else happened?" I'm staying here tonight, they insisted. Okay, at least you are safe there. My dad thinks you should back off for a while. Wynne was perturbed by this comment. Why should he back off? Ashley needed him. He feared she would lack the resolve to see this through without his support. Why has he said that? He thinks it will just make things clearer for me. Wynne felt disappointed. He had hoped that Ashley's parents, on knowing of her terrible treatment at the hands of Peter, would welcome him with open arms, especially after Ashley had told them what he had done for her. That was assuming that she had done so. There's nobody in my corner, is there? Wrote Wynne. The situation felt out of control for him. He hadn't seen Ashley since word of the affair had erupted, and he'd had little chance to speak to her on the telephone. He wished she had come to see him rather than going to her parents. I am in your corner. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Wynne felt heartened at this reply. Thank you. I feel helpless. I wish I could be there. So do I. Going to bed soon. I will keep in touch. Okay. Stay strong and get some rest. Thank you. Wynne placed the phone on his bedside cabinet. He had hoped that they would be on this bed, right now, making love, shielded from the pain that Peter had caused. At least Ashley was away from him, and his toxic nature. That gave some comfort to Wynne. He would have to see what the morning would bring. He hoped that it would be an appearance from Ashley.